What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Love with Horror. I'm AJ.
And I'm Christy.
And y'all, we just got back from watching Winnie the Pooh, Blood and... I'm stumbling over my words, y'all. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. And I think it says now, I guess I'm stumbling because I'm just that excited, y'all. Because look, I got to say, I think you agree, right? We low-key kind of hype for the Poohniverse now. Let's talk about this movie. So last year we got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the first one, right? Written and directed by Reese Frake Waterfield, super small budget, and it definitely showed in the film, right? It was ultra B movie. There's some cool, kills, but it was rough, right? Mm-hmm. But they made a lot of money. They made like $5 million,
right?
Which allowed them the ability to go off and make the sequel, Blood and Honey 2, and the budget was way bigger on this one. Definitely is evident, on the screen. And they also were able to get additional support in the writing department. They got Matt Leslie, who wrote the story for Summer of '84, to help write in this. And of course, Reese Frake Waterfield was returning as a writer-director for Blood and Honey 2 as well. So let's talk about, before we dive into like our exact thoughts on this film, right? Let's set up kind of what you can expect, story-wise going into Blood and Honey 2. So what's very cool about this film is they take that like meta approach where in this film, you start off and you learn that the first movie is like an actual movie that exists in Blood and Honey 2.
Yeah.
It's a very like meta approach. But what's dope about that is, I'm sure you noticed from the trailers and the images, is that the creature designs are vastly different than the first film. For better though, right? Yes. Because they look way better. Yeah. Like they just have a more scariness and like just like viciousness to it. You know what I'm saying? They just look better. But you'll also notice in those trailers and images that the actor that plays Christopher Robin is different. We got Scott Chambers playing Christopher Robin. And so that's, if you're wondering like, oh, why do these people look different? That's right. Why, because it's a meta approach. But it works in the context of this movie, right? So, we meet Christopher Robin. Of course, he's dealing with the trauma of the events of the first film, which did take place, and that's what the movie within the movie is based on. And now that's kind of the starting point for the story. We're meeting back with Christopher Robin. He's dealing with all the bullshit and the trauma from from the events of the first movie, and and it's one of those situations where he's telling this story, but people don't believe him. You know what I'm saying? He has to deal with that, and that's kind of where we find him right now. What's interesting about this film is we also spend a lot more time with the villains in this movie, and kind of learning a lot more about the backstory, the villains, and they even have voices, in this film. In that respect, you get to just learn more about them and spend more time with them, and it just makes them more interesting as actual characters. And if you've seen the trailers and the images, like basically it's a battle between Ashdown, the town, and 100 Acre Woods. Yeah. The Pooh people, and they basically coming to a head, right? Yeah. And that's basically like the general story without giving away any spoilers, because there's a lot of things that were surprising story-wise that unfolded in this movie that I wasn't expecting. So we'll leave it at that for the story. But that's the general gist. And then of course you can expect like, all the kills and stuff like that, that you would expect in a movie like this. So with that, the basic story breakdown, I'll pass it over to you, babe. Like, what did you think about Blood and Honey 2?
Well, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I did not think I was going to like this because, full disclosure, I fell asleep on the first one.
You did. He was gone. He was knocked all the way out. Yeah.
It was just because I am a story person.
Yeah.
And so there was no story in that,
There really
was
wasn't.
Really just a bunch of killing, which the kills were really good. Like
they were surprisingly good.
Like there were some really creative kills.
Yeah.
And I have to give them props for creating what they created on the budget that they had.
Oh yeah.
But they took that chaos and mayhem obviously and dumped that into this movie, but made it better by giving it a story. And I really liked the story. I was like, oh, I like this.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. I was really surprised how everything unfolded, but I really liked it. Scott Chambers is like, he's a really good actor. I actually saw him. I know he produced on this film too, and he was in another film, also a small film called Dr. Jekyll, from Hammer Films, and he was really good in that. But yeah, so he's really good in this too.
Yeah,
like his performance as Christopher Robin was just really good. There was this one scene in there, I was like, oh my gosh, he's acting his ass off.
Yeah, he was acting.
Yeah,
he was acting.
He did a great job. But yeah, I really liked the villains in this. Like my favorite one probably is Tigger. Like he was hilarious, but brutal at the same time. The kills were still equally good, but they were like just a lot. It was like a lot.
It was over the top.
Yeah, it was over the top. But it was really fun. I feel like this is like a perfect movie. Like you got a whole bunch of friends over, we drinking, you might be smoking or whatever if it's legal where you are. Like, having a good time, and this is like a friend, like a group party enjoyment type of entertainment like movie. I feel like it was really good. Like I was really surprised with how much I liked this one.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I actually really like this movie. Way more than I expected. Yeah. Because coming off the first one, like I really appreciated like the effort there. I really appreciated a lot of the kills were actually really good. But it was just lacking in so many other areas that it was hard to like really enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So my expectations were like, managed going into this one. And I was like, they surpassed it. Like I was shocked. I was like, man, this is actually like pretty good. Now I'm gonna actually give one negative before I jump into all the dope positives. And one negative was I felt like there were like a couple of like pacing issues. I can like see in that. The like getting into like the second act in the middle of the film, where I felt like it kind of slowed down a little bit too much, because I feel like in this film you kind of want to keep a good rhythm. Yeah, and I feel like it kind of lost the rhythm a little bit. But that's really the only like nitpick I have, because everything else about this movie was actually like super dope. It was. Like I said in the beginning of the video, right? That bigger budget, man, you could see it because the effects were really good.
They were really good.
The creature designs looked really good. Like Pooh, Tigger, Owl, and Piglet. And man, Owl is dope. All of Ashdown will burn. Actually, man, I
like Tigger better.
Well, I liked all of them, but I wasn't expecting. Like, I think they kind of mentioned Tigger before, like how he was going to be.
Oh, you weren't expecting him
but I didn't know nothing about Owl.
Well, I think Owl reminds me of the purple villain from the Power Rangers.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep. I was like,
the Ooze guy from the Power Rangers movie.
He reminds me so much of him.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely the vibe I got from him.
Oh, yeah. When y'all see it, you'll know what we're talking about. But don't get me wrong, Pooh was a savage too.
He was a savage.
But now this film understands, like, obviously you want to have a good story, and they had a good story. Yeah. Like that was the meta approach was dope. The backstory and origins of things that you learn was super dope. And kind of how it all played out was dope. Spending time with the villains and kind of seeing their like almost like their perspective, and then spending a little time with them and like getting to like them, you know what I'm saying?
A little bit.
Because you get almost like these like villain monologues, you know what I'm saying? Where like you're like, damn,
why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like, damn, this villain is a badass. It's one of those moments where you're like, man, I'm kind of fucking with the villain. Like, so they have like those kind of moments. It very much feels like an old school like slasher that's just meant to have a creative lore and concept and story. But man, we're here to have fun.
Exactly, and you can see like the little, I guess, like callbacks to those old school slashers throughout the film as well.
And if we mentioned it in our live news video where we were talking about the Poohniverse, right?
Oh yeah.
So you haven't seen that, go check that out, because we talk about the Poohniverse, how they're actually going to take their twisted childhood story world and make a big like Avengers ensemble style horror film, right? But in that, the director and producers mentioned a lot of their inspirations came from like Freddy vs. Jason, Nightmare on Elm Street, all that good stuff. And you can definitely feel that vibe in this. The Freddy Krueger vibes. Heavy.
Some of the lines in there, I was like,
man, like
but they were good.
It was so dope. I was like, man, this shit is awesome. Like, this shit is so fire right now. And speaking to the carnage, like I said, the effects were great. A lot of practical stuff. Obviously, some CGI blood here and there. It was a little bit better in this movie though. But man, the carnage, like these kills were creative.
They were crazy too.
Like it really felt like some old school throwback
like, did they really do
80s
that?
destruction.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm talking about destruction. Like people are getting obliterated in this
For
movie, yo.
real.
Like
They had no chance.
no chance. Like
Yeah.
it is, man. It's savagery. It's ruthless.
Yeah.
Like if you
This film knows what it is.
Oh yeah,
And it delivers.
it's gore heavy, y'all. And let me
Yeah.
tell you something. Like the final act for this film is like pure like horror slasher destruction joy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
It's funny because
it's like 20 minutes of just like the Pooh team going ham.
this is
And
not
it's awesome.
normally my style of movie, but I think having that really good story helped me out a lot, like get invested in it.
Yeah.
Even with Terrifier, like the first Terrifier, I wasn't a big fan of that, but when they started, developing a story for it, it's like, oh, okay, I like.
Yeah,
this.
they combine both the crazy ass
Yeah.
over the top gore stuff, but an interesting
So
story.
I
now,
personally need a good story.
That's
So this was good.
That's a good example of this, like with Terrifier, how Terrifier 2 evolved.
Yes.
The story. This is very much just the
This
same
one
exact
is
thing.
evolving really crazy. Like 2025, I'm interested
It's
to see what
gonna
the heck
be-
they're gonna do.
It's gonna be crazy. like after seeing the idea of like
Mhm.
this like team up thing, this
Yeah.
Pooh team,
yeah,
I'm like, oh man, this
because we got a clip of
this Poohniverse thing is gonna go hard.
Bambi the Reckoning before the movie.
Yeah, so if you check
And-
out the film, it's like a Fathom
Yeah.
Events thing, so you actually get to see the director and stuff.
Yeah,
Like kind of talk about the film and then advertise some of the other childhood story stuff.
yeah, those were very interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, so they showed a clip from Bambi the Reckoning.
Mhm.
What'd you think about that clip, by the way?
Oh, it was short. It was super short.
It was.
You don't really get a whole lot, but you get to see a little bit of the tone and the
Yeah.
vibe of it. And then obviously, well, I don't know, was that Bambi or not, but there was a deer.
I think it was Bambi.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bambi's like grown up in that.
Okay, gotcha.
Film, yeah.
Well, yeah. And then they talked about other things they're gonna do, like Mad Hatter
Yep.
and what else did he say? He said some
I
other
can't remember,
stuff.
to be honest
Obviously,
with you.
Pinocchio.
Yeah.
We saw that in the images that
Yep.
they released,
Mhm.
and some other thing. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Make sure just stay to the mid credits. There's nothing
Oh
after.
yeah.
There's nothing after the end credits, but the mid credits does have like the I'm gonna call the like almost like the Thanos clip. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's like it's setting up the stage for the
Yeah.
Poohniverse. Like it's like one of those type of things.
That was a good one.
Like I said, you can feel the influences from so many different things
Yeah.
on this movie. It's definitely a love letter to all the nostalgic things
Yeah.
we love about horror and slashers and
I think so.
goofiness and funness and
Mhm.
and savagery.
Yeah.
But like I can't stress enough, y'all. This movie is fucking savage
It's so
in the
savage.
best way possible.
Yeah.
Like this shit is so dope.
Yeah.
Like shout out to the team.
Yes,
Y'all
Jagged
fucking
Edge
did y'all
Productions.
thing. Yeah, Jagged Edge Productions. Y'all did y'all thing with this shit right here.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it
only
is-
in theaters for 3 days.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, this is when it's going up tonight.
Yep. So what?
Hopefully.
Today's the 26th. So it's got
26th, 27th, and 28th.
Yep.
Those are the only days it's going to be in theaters, and then you have to wait for whenever
for
it hits streaming.
digital release. But you definitely go out and support this film in the
Please
theaters
support it in theaters
because it's definitely. I'm telling you, it's worth a ticket admission. So check it out in theaters. If not, if you can't make it out, go purchase it when it comes out
Yes.
on digital VOD release because this is one of those ones that's worth it, and it's one of those ones that
You go
like. Well, what I was gonna say was they got a bigger budget and they actually went and used it and made
Yes.
something great.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering, okay, if they even get an even bigger budget,
what they going to do with Poohniverse?
what more can they do? Poohniverse is about to go hard. I don't think y'all understand. Poohniverse is about to go crazy. Like, remember how the Sharknado craze?
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah. That
this is like
that's
that,
wild.
but it's gonna be a
Better.
lot better. It's gonna be better produced. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it's gonna be in that vein where it's like this shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like a phenom, phenomenon, whatever. This shit gonna be crazy. But yeah, Blood and Honey too. Like, I really enjoyed this thing more
Yeah.
than I could have really
Me too.
anticipated.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Y'all can trust me. If y'all don't trust him, trust me. Like,
Yeah.
go watch this movie.
Yeah, go support this thing. Yo, shout out to the people that played the villains. Because I don't. Let me see if I can scroll down. Ryan Oliva from Winnie the Pooh, Louis Santer as Tigger, Eddie's the voice of Piglet, Marcus Macy is Al. Just shout out to all people that played the villains in this because y'all did y'all thing with this shit too. Like, I just want to make sure y'all get y'all love as well. Because you know, y'all covered up in the mask and shit.
Yeah.
So all we hear is like, all we see is the mobility performance.
Right.
And, you know, and the voice. But shout out to y'all because y'all did y'all thing as well. But y'all, that is our thoughts on Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. Definitely go out and support and check out this film. It is a fun time.
Stop
I
hitting
think.
the table.
Oh, my bad.
You always do that.
I do be doing that.
Noise.
I do be hitting the table because like I really be meaning stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I really be meaning stuff. But yeah, definitely go support this film because it really is like it makes you feel like it's kind of like the true like foundational essence of like what horror is all about. Like having a good time and a good story and stuff. So go support this film in theaters or on VOD if you can't make it out there. But hey, look, go check out our other reviews as well. If you are new to our channel, go check out our Late Night with the Devil review. That's another dope film.
Immaculate.
Check out our Immaculate review. We reviewed that as well. That's kind of an interesting one because we were kind of divided on that.
We didn't agree on that one.
Hey, look, that was an interesting conversation. Go check out that film. But if you like this video, made this far, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Go ahead and like this video, y'all. Make sure y'all comment if you've seen Blood and Honey 2. Let's discuss this movie, y'all. Because like, there's a lot to talk about. Maybe y'all want us to do a spoiler discussion. Because there's a lot to talk about spoiler-wise with this movie. So let us know if y'all be interested in a spoiler discussion on Blood and Honey 2. But yeah, hey, look, subscribe, y'all, so we can discuss all things horror. And we got a lot of good stuff coming up. We passed 1,000. Like I said before, we setting the goal for 2,000, right? We trying to get there. Y'all help us get there. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to this, y'all. And that's it for us. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.